Happy Saturday, everybody! Well, happy for me, not for like a lot of other people out there, because they got exposed by the Epstein file release. Now, initially, it came out that Donald Trump was implicated in these files by some like random whatever. And like to that, I say, well, isn't Donald Trump like one of those guys who's like rich enough to not need anybody else to do the things that like Epstein can do, like get women, you know, have women in like hotels or whatever. Like he had the money to do that himself. And like the idea that like he has to ask somebody else to do it for him, because like this is the trippiest shit. Like people try to pretend like Donald Trump is like one of those guys that is approachable and that like you have something in common with. And that couldn't be farther from the point, because the Epstein files have been released and have implicated Bill Gates, among many other people like Jay-Z, like, and even talked about how Puff Daddy and like was abusing Justin Bieber and shit. I actually gotta watch the video on that. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I just saw the topic. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But more to the point, um, so what we're dealing with here is a man who, despite having like multiple billions of dollars, like he's a billionaire, right? Bill Gates. He's not put together in his head well. Like I kind of felt that like when I saw Bill Gates digitized into the Doom game, despite how popular it was, I felt even then like it was just this guy trying to hang on to something that was never his and he was never a part of. Much like Hassan's trying to like, hang on to his like whatever base. He got like banned and then unbanned and I don't know. I don't care. He pretends like he's important but he's just not important. Like the kind of weird ass shit where so he's complaining to Jeffrey Epstein, right? The late Jeffrey Epstein. And I'm gonna get into it with the Jews and shit. Oh yeah. Not like necessarily all the Jews, well, a lot of the Jews to be honest, like it was about the whole how they're like letting the Arabs into like the European countries and they're like, yo, you can ethnically replace us. Specifically this Rabbi Goldstein. Or no, Goldschmidt. Gold, whatever. So he's like complaining to Epstein, his this other Jew, about like, yo, I have sex with these prostitutes. She got me, and now I got STDs. You gotta give me some like medicine to give to my wife, but like the one that she won't notice, and I'll just like lie to her and tell her it's like a vaccine, like he did to all of us. Take the vaccine, dude. It's all good. I would have put it by me that the same shit that he uses to treat his wife and his SDSD, he put it in the vaccine. That's why you always have to get vaccinated. Like that's the reason why. Now we know. Like it wasn't just the money. It was like Bill Gates, his shame, his multi-billion-dollar shame. And I was always like wondering, like, how come Xbox is such a fucking cheapskate ass fucking company and shit, right? And it's like, you pay almost 2 to 3 times as much money as you would on other consoles, or like 5 to 10 times as much as you would on a PC, and it's just like so pointless. I'm like, where the fuck is this money going? Right? Even with like some of the bullshit where you could swear to yourself, like this is a tax write-off, like the Microsoft Connect. It's garbage. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I have fucking ice cubes. Why don't you just use it? I'm coughing up a storm here. Yeah, but that's some like straight up sick ass shit, man. See, this is why I'm so happy. I'm a Sony pony. People are always like trying to clown me for that. So I'm like, oh, I'm too like submissive to Japanese people or like whatever. I'm like, yeah, well, Their games are much better. Like, when have you ever seen me on this channel play like, mostly Western games? Like, you could argue Risk of Rain is very much a Western game, this and that, but well, you could argue one way or the other, but that's not the way I see it. They had better ideas. Like, even Bill Gates bought up a bunch of Sega companies for his Microsoft Sexbox. Sexbox Live. You gotta go live on Sexbox. Here, people on PlayStation 4 were actually doing the same shit. They're just like getting on a webcam and like having sex on video calls. I don't even know how real that is though. Well, fuck. Fucking. I should have like fucking put the ice cubes in the bong. Coughing up a storm now. But yo, and now Jay-Z got booked. So he was named in the Epstein files. Beyonce's leaving him. Funny ass shit. And like we have to like understand something about this exposure. You see, like these guys do these things because they're always weak people, you know? Like how sweet is it? How good is it, for you to want to like have something at the expense of another human being, even though generationally speaking, you should be with your own peoples. But like you're just sick in the head. Like you can't love your wife or your significant other, or you can't like in some cases you can't even love the same gender. You know what I mean? Like the gender that you're in a relationship with, right? Like you gotta like switch on over and keep it on the DL. Like Puff Daddy over here, most likely Jay-Z and all these other fuckers too. Eh? It's just like this like kind of cover. I feel as if like these guys want to like front against you, and then anytime you like show any signs of like, oh, you're interested in this kind of fashion, or you dress or talk a certain way, you dance and like this kind of music, to just try to clown you. And meanwhile, like the gayest shit out there is actually rap. Like fucking some pedo gay ass shit. It goes to show too, like all the people who are I guess rallying behind the whole rap hip hop like movement, they fell down like a deck of cards. They all folded, and we're dealing with the aftermath of it. Like an entire weak world, weak mannerisms, weak like euphemisms, if you will. Bro, cooked. Like, fuck it. I don't even want to fucking get into it, man. Basically, what I'm saying is we had our language hijacked by homosexuals, and they inserted like a bunch of stupid shit into our language to make our fucking not only us stupid but our kids perpetually way more stupid. And when you think about the idea that something like 40 to 60% of the student body growing up now are more or less illiterate, which I find that hard to believe considering like if you're growing up with like the internet, like how would you not know how to read? But like the literacy in terms of like spelling, in terms of like grammar and punctuation and shit like that. Like I think my biggest gripe, especially with like a lot of YouTubers, is their like I wouldn't say pronunciation. What's the word out here? Misunderstanding or complete lack of understanding of the word and the definitions between women, plural, and woman, singular, right? When they're referring to women, they'll sometimes say woman. This is something you have to fight for woman rights. And I'm just like, no, women's rights, or women rights, right? Like plural. And they're like, like they just don't know how to like, do that. And honestly, I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or they're just that fucking stupid. And I bring this up because this is why we have automation. This is why we have AI. Like this is and oversight that isn't going to go away, and it gets even better, as in worse, right? Like, so I talk and speak about microchips, the processes at length on this channel, and I only bring that up because, hey, yeah, there isn't enough educated people in the world to maintain the chip supply outside of Japan and Taiwan. If you get rid of those two countries and the people who are working on making basically the world's, microchips, well, specifically those companies. So I don't know. I hear like Samsung and SK hyperlinks are the ones that are buying up all of the products, but they're not the ones who make it. So yeah, it comes from Taiwan, it comes from Japan, and the inevitability is if their workforce is depleted, we're gonna have a regression in terms of technology. And I only bring this up because I went on eBay just for kicks and giggles, but mostly to check on SSD prices, and they went up again. Yeah, a 500 gigabyte M2 SSD Gen 4, Gen 4, mind you, not Gen 5. $100. I bought mine for I think 60 something after tax, and that's including the delivery charges and everything. I got it for such a steal, 500 for $100 USD. Fun times we're living in. So most likely, it's just gonna key, whatever. But I'm so happy I got an adapter because I could just slot out the M2s because they're selling the 256s for like $30. So it's like you could get something that like you could put like a little bit of like 200 gigs worth of something on it, and it's okay. And like for the sake of storage, that's pretty cool. Like I don't really give a shit one way or the other because I can just again use the adapter, slot one take the M2 out, slot another one in, blah blah blah, right? Like it's supposed to be a permanent thing where you put it in and then you screw it in and it stays forever and it never goes away. So if you just slot in like a 1 terabyte and you need a 2 or a 4 later on, like yeah, you have to unscrew it, slot it out, and then do the process all over again. But it's like it's more extensive that way. If you have an adapter, like you can just do the whole click in, click out thing. But yeah, the future of our exposure of technology, exposure of like people doing pedophile ass shit. I was gonna talk about Tectone, but then I realized like I should make a new video about him because of the whole bias towards him and about the severity of the charges that he is being accused of. So filming sexual acts is never a good thing, but to force to do someone to like into that, and you could argue, and I think he and his defense was trying to argue that, and he failed miserably. That it was just like consensual or some sort of like deal between the two of them, which I'm not buying it. Like it's always like a power trip thing that people have when they want to film shit. Like they want to film you when you're high, they want to film you when you're having sex, they want to film you just like randomly. It's like it's a power thing. And once you get past it, like you understand that like people like that are very, twisted individuals. So I'll devote an entire video to him. I don't think he's like that close of a friend to S and Gold. Like I've always seen Tectone as more or less a guy who like knew these people through the grapevine, and then like he, as his girlfriend was like describing him, changed his personality to like fit in with his crowd. Kind of what people do when they go to high school and shit, which is ironic because all these people act as if they're like perpetually in high school. Son, Tecto, the Kari. And this exposure like shows us the real truth in life. Looks are so much more important than you realize, and people who fake it, like Clavicular, like all these other guys, the synthol guys, the steroid PED user guys, GH, um, guys who got like extensive surgeries even though they never had like a major accident in their life. You know, we've won almost poetically. Like we kind of always knew that we've won. It's just now we have this like I want to call like the release of the Epstein files closure. You know, it's like we kind of knew that these guys were fucking worthless losers, but now we know beyond a reasonable doubt. And the way that they like influenced the masses, like it says more about them than it does about like the people who are in the in the wrong here getting accused, because it's like shouldn't you be famous? Shouldn't you be like have Microsoft money? Yeah, get down there, Bill Gates. You and your Russian prostitutes. Oh shit, man. He's giving his wife fucking medicine. Yo, take this dear. It's for your bunions. No, trust me. There's nothing suspicious about that at all. I'm a billionaire, remember?